Welcome back to Mind Pump TV. I'm your host, Adam Schaefer. We're gonna get into the 90-90 today, you guys. This has been an incredible move for me, something that I wasn't introduced till I was 30 years old, and it's made a huge difference on my low back pain, and it's improved my squatting and deadlifting tremendously. So follow me over. I'm gonna help you guys out with how to get into the 90-90 and how to do this. All right, so we're gonna get into your guys' starting position, posture, and then points of contact. So the reason why this is called a 90-90 is we're gonna internally rotate one hip and externally rotate the other hip so that it puts you into this 90-degree angle. So both the front knee is at 90 degrees and then the back knee is at 90 degrees. Now, one of the ways to make sure you're in the correct position is you should be able to sit up tall and straight, and then the knee, your trail knee, you should be able to put your arm out nice and straight, and it should line up. So I can put my arm out, it's lined up with my knee, my hip, and my shoulder. So I know that trail leg is right. My front knee is lined up with my front shoulder. And then I take my hand, I supinate it, so palm down, and then that's gonna help posture me up. So this is our starting position. The major points of contact that we're gonna focus on first is the front leg. So the front leg, I'm paying attention to the knee and the ankle are my main points of contact right now. Now, obviously I have points of contact back here, but this is where the main focus is when we start off on this side. So now I want to talk to you guys about your posture and then the do's and don'ts when we get into this movement. So now that we're in the position, we have our points of contact, we have good posture. The first thing that you're going to see is that a lot of people have a hard time even getting into this position. You might even feel a little bit of stress on your hip right here because you have a hard time internally or externally rotating the hip. So being able to sit upright. So a lot of people will kind of slouch over. That's the first key, is I want to make sure that I have upright posture. This right here might already be an exercise for people to be able to keep the points of contact, the knee and the ankle driving into the grass, sitting up posture. Like I can already feel my hips working because I trained legs really hard yesterday, so they're really tight. And so this is already work for some people. Now, how we progress into the movement and the exercise of the 90-90 is I want to keep my chest high and then I'm going to hover over my knee. Now, when I do this, common mistake is people relax and they round. And I could round all the way over, but the idea is to think about your hips. And Paul Chek does a great job of giving this cue of, as I hover over the knee, think about your butt, and you're trying to, like headlights, you're trying to point the headlights up towards the ceiling. So you rotate the hips out. So the butt's pointing up, chest is up, and you hover over the point. The next key you need to think about is the knee and the ankle, because a lot of people will start to come up here or this will relax. So as I'm hovering over, I'm also thinking about driving my knee and my ankle into the grass. So I'm pushing in there, which you're gonna feel that connect back to your butt. You'll feel your butt light up in the back left corner. And then as I hover over, I'm gonna feel a nice, good, deep stretch. Now, as soon as I feel that good, deep stretch, I don't need to force myself over anymore. I want to hold that, and I'm focusing on pushing the knee and ankle into the grass while I'm in that position, while I'm keeping good posture. I want to hold that for about 5 seconds, and then I want to slowly move out of the stretch. Posture back up, make sure you're squared up, hover over, points of contact, knee and ankle, drive it into the grass as hard as you can. Keep that good posture. Make sure you're trying to square yourself up. Hold that while you're pushing as tense as you can. Drive the knee and ankle into the grass, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and then come out of it. All right, so now let's talk about tempo and breathing during this movement. So this is a slow and controlled movement. It's not a speed thing for reps. We're trying to mentally concentrate on waking up these hips. So I care more about the driving of the knee and ankle into the grass than to how fast we're doing these repetitions. So that's more important, that we're getting good connection to all the muscles that are surrounding the hip. So, and how we do that is by pushing the knee and ankle into the grass really hard. And so then my tempo, once I make that connection, pushing hard in the grass, nice and slow and controlled, I start to hover over until I feel that good deep stretch. Once I feel that deep stretch, I then again reapply more pressure into the grass, connecting there for about 5 seconds, and then I come out of it. Now, when you do this, common mistakes, people hold their breath. Now, you do not have to breathe in or out a certain tempo, but making sure you don't hold your breath and you breathe is important when we're trying to do this stretch. So just make sure you're breathing nice and calm. I typically tell clients, breathe in through your nose, exhale through your mouth, nice and controlled while you're in the stretch. I like to teach this where we hover over, we do a 5-second hold, then we come out of it, and we do that 5 times coming forward, and then we switch to the other knee and go the other side. All right, let's talk about some of the common mistakes, and if you're doing this right or you're doing this movement wrong. This is challenging it's challenging for me. If I let go here, you can see that I'm overcompensating to try and hold myself up, or else I would tip over. So sometimes when I'm really stiff, I don't even go into this movement, and I just kind of focus on getting good posture. And I'll use a stick or a PVC pipe, and I'll lay it across my thigh, and this helps me brace and get myself upright. And already, just sitting up tall and straight, remembering those points of contact that I talk about where you're driving your knee and ankle, this right here is already work. I'm already working in this position without doing any sort of a movement, is just trying to get upright. And that's more important than you going through the movement and just letting your back round and overcompensating to one side or the other because you don't have the act mobility. So if you find yourself rounding at your back just to get over, or you find yourself unable to sit upright without your knee coming up off the ground, well, then you don't even need to lean over at all. You don't have that mobility yet. Just you sitting upright with good posture and trying to square your chest up and your shoulders, keep your abs tight, and then also, because you see right away, my knee wants to come up off the ground, so I want to push that down. I'm pushing it down into the grass, my ankle in the grass, and just sitting upright. You want to master this position first before we start to incorporate a movement. Now, once you have that down, you can keep yourself in this position where my chest is up high, I have good spinal alignment, my knee and ankle is driving the grass. Then I can hover over into the stretch. And sometimes you only got to go this far. Somebody leaning over just a tiny bit will already start to feel this pulling in their low back. They'll feel their butt lit up, and they'll feel like it's burning back there because you're really tight. So that right there is plenty far enough. It's not about how far over that we're going. This is a mind-muscle connection thing. We're trying to connect to all the muscles around the hip, the low back area. That's what we're trying to do here. So if you just sitting upright is giving you that work, this is fine. Sit up in that good posture. Try and keep that square. Now, if you're going to add the movement where you kind of come over deeper into the stretch, don't lose this. Don't slouch over just to get over in this position. Then you're defeating the purpose of this exercise. So really concentrate on squaring up. So the areas that I'm always talking to when I'm coaching someone through this is I'm getting them to pay attention to their upper torso and their posture. So their shoulders are square and they're upright. Their knee they're able to drive and keep the knee flat on the ground. Same thing with their ankle. And they're able to maintain that as they come over into the stretch. Now, if you lose that, then you don't need to be hovering over. You need to be just working on trying to sit upright and keeping yourself in that position. That already is a great exercise. If you feel this too, like I said, in the low back, when you start to hinge over and you start to round the low back, that's when you know you're doing this movement wrong. Again, revert back to just posturing up and then trying to get to the point where you can put those points of contact down. If you guys enjoyed that video, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. Also, if you have any questions regarding that video, comment below. We'll be coming back, visiting periodically and answering your guys' questions. Also, if you're listening to this video because you suffer from low back pain, we actually wrote a guide. It's completely free. You guys can check that out at the link at the end of this video or below.